Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Anyone care to share some creepy experiences you or people you know have had? Paranormal or not, doesn't matter. Be me, about 5 years old, playing in the woods down the street from my house with some buddies. Find a treehouse. Not really a treehouse since it's not in a tree, but it looked like one, so that's what we called it. The door is locked. Windows are foggy, can't see inside. Creepy pictures drawn on the windows. One of them I remember was some fat drooling worm thing. We usually stayed away from the treehouse, but we played in those woods all the time. Lots of scary stuff happened over the years. Anyway, a few years later, a hurricane hit. Isabel, I think it was. I don't know if it hit Maryland in like 2003 or 2004. Go in the woods with my buddies when the storm is over. The treehouse is destroyed, so of course we go check it out. We wondered for years what was in there, but we were too scared to break in. We found all these jars with what looked like intestines and all kinds of nasty things inside. Creeped us out, so we all went home. Came back the next day, all of it was gone, not even a trace of the treehouse. I have some more stories I'll share if anyone's interested. I spent a lot of time in the woods in my neighborhood throughout my childhood, and I had some pretty crazy experiences. My neighborhood used to be a plantation way back in the day.
B5 or 6. Grandpa and bro downstairs. Grandma in the bath. Go upstairs and it is dark everywhere. Hear grandma in the bath. Walk towards the bedroom at the end of the hall. A dark figure comes saying go downstairs in my grandma's tone. WTF.jpg. Say why? But it moves a little bit closer. Too scared to turn on the light in the hall. Go to the bathroom and tell grandma. The door is right near the stairs. She says it's probably your uncle. Go back out, but it's still there. Say it again. Run downstairs. It watches me go downstairs. Fucking creepy. I told my grandma what happened, but she said it was probably your uncle, but I knew he left.
Fuck, that would have scared the shit out of me. If that was really your uncle, why would he be telling you to go downstairs like that? Lol, pretty creepy either way. Not many creepy things happened in my house, but there's one thing that comes to mind right now. B16. Lying in bed one night. Hear a strange noise coming from downstairs. I put my ear to the vent on the floor so I can hear it more clearly. Sounds like monks chanting, but really creepy sounding and very faint. Note that there was nothing down there that could have been making noise, like no TV or radios or anything. Lay back down. Keep hearing it, it starts to really creep me out, to the point where I have to go in my parents' room and tell my dad to check downstairs. Calls me a friend, not really, and tells me he's not getting up, it's nothing, go back to bed. Still hearing the monks chanting noise, but it's a little bit louder, and the more I hear it the more it creeps me out. Tell my dad again to check downstairs, he could tell I was pretty scared, so he did. Comes upstairs and says there was nothing. I went back to bed and only heard it for a few more minutes before it stopped. I still have no idea what that noise was. It's definitely one of the creepiest noises I've ever heard though. Not sure if that's creepy to anyone else, but it really scared me at the time, and still gives me shivers thinking about it.
Something similar happened to me. Except it was creaking. And this creaking is very particular. I would hear it, and it's almost always the same creaking. It would also be with whispers. I would always call out to the creaking whisper as a kid asking if it was mom or dad, and it would do away. But this time 1 month ago I said fuck that. I didn't want to live in fear. I didn't do anything and just ignored it. The whispering got so loud and got right into my ear saying my name. I jumped out of bed terrified. It seemed to bring a part of my childhood back to me. I don't know if it's psychological, but it's very weird.
Be in high school. Go to a friend's house to spend the night because his parents are away. Ring the doorbell and an old man answers. Tony is upstairs. I enter the room and Tony freaks out. Ask how I got in, tell him. He says that's impossible and grabs a photograph. It's the same guy that answered the door. Tony freaks out again. His parents are away because they went to a funeral. The funeral was for his uncle, who answered the door for me.
Be me, age 15, in the woods with my 2 Icelandic friends. Dicking around, talking, usual 15-year-old stuff. Look at our surroundings, and on top of a particularly large hill, I see a man in tuxedo watching us. He seems kinda old. Tell friends. They look up at him and suggest we try to talk to him. Go up the hill and watch him turn around and walk away. We double time it and start sprinting. Finally reach the top of the hill. He's standing at the edge of the woods, which leads to a large cornfield, which was now emptied of corn. Try to cover the I think 30 to 50 meters covered in vines and other plant life to get to him. He just calmly walks out. A minute or 2 later we finally got out of there. We can't find him. Go to the owner's house and ask him. He says we're probably just seeing stuff. Believe him and head back into the woods to get back to my friend's house. We saw him a few more times in the woods and the same thing happened each time. Same guy, same outfit, and always in some odd place that took us forever to reach.
Kinda spoopy. Not really paranormal, but meh. Be me and my brother. Have a nearby wetland refuge. Some ecology study area. Apparently some kind of rare biome type. Whatever, refuge is middling size, about 20 square miles. Something kinda off about it. Quieter than the surrounding countryside. Birds present but not very chirpy. Lots of big spiders. Anyway, me and bro go in a woodsing there. Reach the end of the refuge trail just sort of stops. Clearing a little ways through the woods. Broke down fence, rusted to pieces, wide open. Why the fuck not? JPEG. Wander into the area. Most notable feature 2 large school buses, other dismantled vehicles. Weird, hula girl-esque knickknacks fucking everywhere. Closer inspection of buses reveal bullet holes. FMJ fragments and slugs recovered. Fuckman, I dunno about this. Bro reaction. Keep exploring like a dumbass. Discover continuation of trail up a low berm. Crest of berm. Discover mini fridge wrapped in gator tie downs. Coffee table Bible next to the mini fridge. Covered in mold, apparent scorch marks. Bro, I got a bad feel bout this shit. Bra statement. Proceed like a dumbass part 2. Decide to open the mini fridge. Takes a while, straps are interlocked. Crack the seal. Fucking nastiest smell ever. Sweet, meaty, rotten as balls. Bro looks into the fridge. Starts freaking right the fuck out. Notice more doodads and children's toys in the immediate vicinity of the fridge, arranged in a circle. Asterisk ATV motor noise asterisk. Fuck it, let's bail. Rush to the bottom of the berm, hide in tall grass. Grungy hillbilly dude rides past us up the hill. 2 children with him, all of them dressed identically. Motor cuts off as they crest the berm. Raging hillbilly noises, like primal hatred. Motor starts back up, fades further into unexplored territory. Bro and I sprint a mile or so back and up the trail. Here ATV patrolling the woods near the clearing for about 30 minutes. Coast clears, we book it the rest of the 3 miles back to my truck. Drive home. Dead silent the whole way. Bro still won't tell me what he saw in the fridge. I have more regarding this location in the actual hillbilly encampment if y'all are interested, bro, and I are considering going back and snapping photos for documentation. Alright, here's more. Same nature preserve. Decide to go back to hillbilly camp. This time the gate's been replaced. Crappily mad message. Keep out Govit and other asses, daw fuq. Proceed into the compound. Go around buses, right side of the berm. Massive trash pile. If any of you go in a woodsing or live rural, semi-rural, it was about the size of a stock pond. Berm bisects trash heap, plateaus back at the fridge. Find small sheet metal shed, full of backpacks, hiking equipment, kerosene lanterns, oil cans. Traverse back to a flat path. Mini fridge is gone. Continue. Another trash lake, mostly sheet metal, more buses, an honest-to-God trailer home. Trailer seems to be inhabited, i.e. interior lights. Go back. Find more small sheet metal structures, full of random shit. Discover the house. White, dilapidated farmhouse, massive damage to exterior, boarded windows. Clotheslines covered in mussed quilts and rags. Hear ATV approaching. Nope the fuck out of there.
In a woodland area with 2 friends. It's directly behind an old school that's shut down. Only people who go to the old school and woodland area are us and some local stoners a year older than us. Sitting talking. Suddenly a guy appears, sounds pretty simple, has that look that stares straight through you, but he's pretty big and looks entirely unpredictable. Asks us if we know where the bucket machine is. I think Americans call them gravity bongs. There used to be one everywhere that was quiet around here about 8 or 9 years ago. Tell him we don't, but there could be one nearer to the school. We weren't that far away from the school ourselves. Continues, staring straight through me. Asks us to show him. Tell him we don't know if there is one there, but if there is one, that's where it'll be. States that he has cannabis, solid kind, and pulls it out inside of a money bag from his inside jacket pocket. Tell us if we show him where it is, he'll give us some. Still keeps staring and has us completely on edge. Try to get rid of him by pointing to where to go. Insists we take him to it. Tell him to lead the way and we'll direct. Start to slow down and let him keep walking. Turns around and says,
"Come and have a look at this, it's so peculiar, just come over and have a look."
Does a terrifying stare again. Absolutely shit pants and run directly into the woods. Hear the noise of running behind us. Make the assumption he's running in the opposite direction because we didn't get and murdered within minutes. That was really fucking terrifying. We all thought he was police trying to get us on some kind of entrapment sting, but he was far too odd to be police.
Up here, I got another story from my old neighborhood. Be about 16, wandering around the woods with a couple of friends and cousins. We decided to explore a part of the neighborhood we had never been to. On the way there, we met up with a couple of other friends, who also have their cousins with them. We find this very old abandoned schoolhouse in the woods. It seems like it's about to collapse. It's still standing today, by the way. I decided to count everyone, and there were exactly 11 of us. I thought it would be important to know exactly how many of us there were in case someone got left behind by accident, which could easily happen since not all of us knew each other. I did this quite often when exploring the woods. We fuck around in there for a while. Notice all these strange satanic-like symbols on the walls. Figured it was just a bunch of punk emo kids who thought it was cool to draw pentagrams and shit like that. Decide to leave, but before we do I count everyone. There are 10 of us. I look around and notice that everyone that I brought is there. Tell my friend that someone is missing. He says that all of his cousins are here. We all sit there looking around at each other for a moment before we realize something really fucking weird is going on. We all nope.jpg out of there and go back to my house and stay there the rest of the day. I swear I counted 11 people when we got to that schoolhouse. Someone or something was there that should not have been there. It couldn't have been some kid that lived nearby that wandered off or something because we were pretty far away from any houses. The rest of the day, I was so paranoid I kept counting all of us, but always came up with 10. Got another story to share. Be me, about 16. A lot of creepy stuff happened to me during that age. Find an old chapel in the woods that had collapsed many years ago. I had heard about it before, but never actually found it. There was a page about it on the neighborhood's website, but I don't think it's up anymore. There's nothing left but a big pile of wood left behind from the collapsing building, and about 10 to 20 tombstones that date back to the 19th century. Some of them were still standing, but some had fallen over. I went there many times to show all my friends but never encountered anything creepy. One day I showed my friend Stanley. He wanted to read the tombstones that had fallen over. Told him he shouldn't mess with them, but he didn't listen. Ends up positioning all of them upright in order to read them. Go back home to his house after a while. I spent the night there for the next few nights. That night we kept hearing strange noises. We thought we were just being paranoid because we just played a scary game. It gets worse each night. We hear bangs on the walls and windows and shit, plus a bunch of weird stuff I don't want to talk about. Decide to go back to the chapel one day. I put all the tombstones back exactly the way they were when we first found them. It wasn't too hard since they had made imprints in the leaves, ground. All the weird shit stops. I guess something didn't like us messing with those stones.
Tell us the weird shit you don't wanna talk about.
Alright. We kept seeing things in the windows from the corner of our eyes, but when we would look there would be nothing there. We would hear whispering like someone was right in our ear, but we couldn't understand any of it. Besides the banging noises, we heard what sounded like horses or something running around outside. His dog kept barking at random shit. His dog never barked at anything. I kept getting really bad headaches, like really bad. Could have been from stress though. Random things would get knocked over. Whenever my friend would go into the other room, he would see something staring at him through the sliding glass door. But whenever he called me to come look at it, it was gone. Never believed him about that though. The third night was the weirdest. We heard his mom just start shrieking the most demonic shriek you could ever imagine, and we ran in her room to check on her and she was fast asleep. Later that night she got up, went to the bathroom, and puked for like 30 minutes. We asked her about it but she didn't remember a thing. The worst thing was these disturbing images that would appear in our heads. It's hard to describe them or explain exactly why they were so disturbing, but we would just see disturbing images randomly. This was the only thing that continued after we put the tombstones back, but it stopped after like a week. That's all I can remember.
Bit of background. I live in a cul-de-sac. At the end of it is a small, 2-level complex that constantly has poor, fucked up families moving in and out. Not a bad neighborhood, but this complex always attracts dirty shitheads and therefore the police. Literally 3 weeks ago, I wake up in the middle of the night to what sounds like something large and made of plastic being dragged up my street. Check time. 3 a.m. exactly. Da fuck.jpg. Look outside to see a family from the complex pushing 2 strollers up the street with their kids. Shitty stroller made the sound. Seen this family during the day, sometimes going out for walks. Mom, dad, young daughter, 6 to 7 years old, and younger son, 3 to 4 years old. Weird, but don't think anything of it. Next night same shit. 3 a.m. on the dot. They're going up the street again. Continue a third night, and begin to feel suspicious. Next night is a Friday night, it happens again. Okay, put on imaginary deerstalker, I'm going to follow these fuckers. Quickly get dressed and sneak out of my house. University student, living with parents. decently lit neighborhood, so I stay a good 100 meters away. See family head into the fucking woods that is at the end of the street across from the cul-de-sac. Fairly small wooded area. Has a railway running through it. But just big enough, I figure, to do weird shit in and not be seen. Jog up to the entrance of the forest when I lose sight of them. Can't see shit, Captain. Fairly familiar with the trails, thankfully, having explored and walked through the woods quite often as a kid, either with my parents or friends. Never came across any spooky shit. Lived in this neighborhood all my life too. Poke around a few trails until I find a light source deeper at the end of a trail. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, sweating bullets. Family is performing some kind of fucking weird witch shit. Children are back to back, each holding candles. Mom is talking rapidly in, I don't know what the fuck, language, and I am familiar with French, Spanish, Polish, and it didn't sound like any Asian language. At least nothing like Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. Okay, I think it's time to go home and forget I saw anything. As if this were some cheesy horror flick, step on a branch and instantly draw attention to myself. Didn't even fucking notice the dad is standing off to the side, like at a 45-degree angle from me facing the scene ahead of me. He's maybe 10 meters away. Turn on and point the flashlight at me. Thankfully my face is slightly obscured by branches. Freeze and the two kids, Mom and Dad, are just fucking staring at me. Staring contest for a good 10 seconds. Mom begins to breathe extremely heavily, almost violently if that's even possible. Picture Witch from Left 4 Dead when it begins to be startled. Well, it looks like that's my cue. I sprint as fast as I can towards the direction of the street. Can hear the dad following behind me. Done track and field. Specialized in hurdles. Jumping over everything like a crazy pansy. See salvation. I'm shitting my pants going down the street. Look back and see the dad has stopped at the entrance of the woods. Called the police the next morning. A cop came to my house to detail a report of what I saw. Basically laughs in my face. Doesn't take me seriously at all. Even makes a sarcastic joke about how they deal with street criminals, not vagabonds looking for shelter in the woods. Didn't see the family until a week later while walking to the bus stop, heading to uni. The second they spotted me walking by, they just stopped and stared. Fucking no. Nothing else to tell. No weird shit around my house. I stopped hearing them go out at 3 a.m. But each time they fucking see me, to or from the bus stop, they just stand and stare until I'm out of sight.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentexts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.